Hey folks, it's Mark here to do a video on my favorite compilation albums. Now I left off CDs, didn't go to CDs, did albums. And these are my favorite compilations for various reasons. Either it could be representing labels I like, or they were pivotal albums at a specific time in my life, or they were albums that pointed me in a certain direction either musically or turned me on to new bands. You know, most of the reasons that we all love compilations. So let's get started. I'm going to start with some labels, compilations that pretty much spotlight labels. And the first one I'm going to do, the Some Bazaar collection. This is a great album from 1981. Steve-O, the head of Some Bazaar Records, put this together, signing new emerging electronic bands of the time. And it's pretty important because it contains the first recordings from Depeche Mode, The, Soft Cell, and also Blancmange. And B-Movie also make appearances, as well as several other good acts on here as well. So, yeah, Some Bazaar collection. This is really a good album. I think it's been issued on CD, so seek this one out. It's got exclusive versions of Photographic by Depeche Mode and others, so find it. Also, Who Put the Bomp? This is just a good power pop collection. The Bomp label's awesome. Started by Greg Shaw, the late Greg Shaw. This really has a great collection of 2.5-minute, short, sharp power pop tracks, mostly from the late 70s. There's a couple on here from the 60s, one by the Choir. It's really good. But bands like The Shoes, Human Switchboard, Permanent Waves, The Romantics, What I Like About You Romantics are on here. And Paul Collins from Nerves. I mean, this is just a great power pop collection, so you really can't do better than something on Bomp, if that's what you're looking for. Who Put the Bomp? Cherry Red Records, another one of my favorite labels. This is one of their defining compilations from 1982 called Pillows and Prayers. Just a great compilation all the way through. Eyeless and Gaza. It's got Felt, Everything But the Girl, Ben Watt, Tracy Thorn, solo, as well as Everything But the Girl. Marine Girls, the band Tracy Thorn was in before Everything But the Girl. And just loads of other stuff. Monochrome Set, Eyeless and Gaza, just pretty much anything good on the Cherry Red label. And all the songs on here hang together quite well. They follow each other in a good sequence. So Pillows and Prayers, I only have the picture disc of it. Never have been able to find the vinyl edition. 4AD are going to get represented, of course. You could pick many compilations from that, but I'm going to go with Lonely is an Eyesore. This is the special edition. It kind of comes in a booklet. It opens up and you get the album and a little fold out, and then you get this booklet that comes with it. Great collection, Lonely is an Eyesore, just a great album. Here we go, you can kind of see a little bit in here. Zymox, Muscovite Mosquitoes on here. No Motion by Diff Jews. Crushed by the Cocteau Twins. Nice little insert there. Wolfgang Press, Cut the Tree, Dead Can Dance. Just a terrific collection. Lonely is an Eyesore. There was a video of it, and also it came out on CD as well. You could pick a million Creation compilations, but I'm going to stick with this one. It's different for Domeheads, the first Creation compilation I ever got. And it has The Loft, Jasmine Minks, Where the Traffic Goes, great song. And one of my favorite songs, Pastel's Baby Honey, is on here. This is just a great collection. Highly suggest you find it. Different for Domeheads, Creation. Stax Records, another great label. Excuse me, I'm having a record mishap down here. Stax Records, another great label. One of the first labels I ever liked as a kid. My grandmother used to buy me 45s from thrift stores, and one of the first ones she got me was Mr. Big Stuff by Gene Knight. Played that to death. And anything with that snapping finger on it, representing the Stax logo. You can kind of see it here. There's that snapping finger. Anything on that label, pretty much I knew was going to be good. And if you're looking for the funkier side of what's on Stax, this is a great collection. Stax Funk. It has the Barkays, one of their best songs, Holy Ghost. You will be floored when you hear that. And, of course, theme from Shaft by Isaac Hayes. Gene Knight, Get Up, Get Down by the Dramatics. This is just chock full of great songs. Stax Funk. If you're not into the Stax label or don't know much about it, seek that one out for sure. Sarah Records, you could pick many compilations to represent that label. I went with Glass Arcade. It's just a collection of really good tracks on the Sarah label. It has things like Another Sunny Day, Rio, Eternal, Sleep. They're a shoegazy kind of group. Springfields, Sea urchins, the orchids, field mice, St. Christopher. I mean, I love the label Sarah, and this is just a great collection of songs representing the label. Fast Records out of Edinburgh, Scotland. And this collection is called Mutant Pop. This is an American PVC edition on the PVC label. Contains, I got it because it had the first Human League single, Being Boiled. It was the first place I'd ever seen that released. And then consequently got turned on to the Mekons and Scars as well. They're all on here as well. And 2.3 and Flowers are two other groups. It just collects singles that were on the Fast label from around 78, 79. Rough Trade is another label you can pick many comps from. I went with Wanna Buy a Bridge, a US compilation, which features stuff mainly released from like 79 to 81. So it's got Young Marble Giants, Scritti Politti, Robert Wyatt, who else is on here? Delta 5, Slips, Essential Logic, Swell Maps, Pop Group. I mean, you get the picture here. This is just a great, Spiz Energy, Soldier Soldier. What an amazing song. Love it. Start to finish, this is just a great collection. Wanna Buy a Bridge, Rough Trade. And then we're on to just some standard compilations. This one called Funky Alternatives, which includes a lot of mid to late 80s industrial alternative dance stuff. A lot of the remixes were exclusive to these LPs. There were 3 volumes. This is volume 1. It contains 23 Skidoo. On here, an exclusive New Order mix called Evil Dust. It's got Tackhead, I'm looking on the back here, 400 Blows, DAF, a mix of brothers that's really good on here. Colorbox, Chris and Cozy, Empty Quarter, and Nocturnal Emissions. Funky Alternatives. Pick these up if you can. They're really, really good. There's 3 of them that I know of. And then on this one here I'm going to include, it's called The Beat. Sound Wave of the 80s. I'm getting this because it was very pivotal to me. I got this as a tape when I was about 12 years old, and I got my first Walkman. And I used to play this tape to death, and I found a vinyl edition of it. And this really opened my mind up to Sparks, I Predict. Didn't know that. I'd heard of OMD, but didn't really know them. This had Joan of Arc on it, blew the lid up on OMD. I became obsessed after that. Already liked Depeche Mode at that time with Just Can't Get Enough, but that was all I knew. This has Dreaming of Me, first place I ever heard that. Fell in Love. I already liked the Thompson Twins, but this has In the Name of Love. So for a K-Tel collection from 1982, this thing dug a little deep. This is a really good, also has Flock of Seagulls, Kim Wilde, Haircut 100, but this really helped get me deeper into some of the bands I would still be loving today, like OMD and Depeche Mode. C86, a cassette that came out, of course, with The Enemy in 1986, pretty much defining a movement of the jangly guitar indie bands of the time. This is a vinyl edition of it, and is pretty flawless all the way through. Primal Scream, Shop Assistants, Close Lobsters, looking on here, The Servants, McCarthy, Fuzzbox, just anything jangly and very kind of rough around the edges. Just a really great collection. I do believe there's a CD reissue of this coming out with a bonus disc. So, NME C86, just a great era-defining compilation. Seeds, this is a collection of songs put out on the Cherry Red label. And Cherry Red basically, in the early 1980s, like 81, 82, licensed different indie 45s and put them out as compilations. And they were kind of like a Nuggets, but for indie 45s of the post-punk era, new wave era. And this one, there are 4 volumes that I know of Seeds. This one's called Rock. There's one called Pop. There's another one called Art. And I forget what the 4th one is. But these are just great. They led me down a path of trying to find really obscure 45s, such as, what are the ones? Yeah, Garage Class. The group Garage Class, a song called Terminal Tokyo. Great song. Standing Up by Colenso Parade, another band I really liked a lot on here, but have still never found the original 45s. But bands also like the Monochrome Set, Glaxo Babies, Fisher Z, Wasted Youth, Revillos, Europeans, great single on here, Europeans. And then an early Dexy's Midnight Runners 45 Dance is on here as well. So Seeds, look for these if you can find them. They should get a good reissue. Nice stuff. Animal Liberation, this came out on the Wax Trax label in the mid-80s, 87. And I really love the track Silent Cry by Chris and Cozy. And of course it's put out for, the ethical treatment of animals and PETA compilation. And it also includes Don't Kill the Animals from Nina Hagen and Lena Lovitch. And I'm not really into a lot of cause type albums. they tend to be more about the cause than the quality of the material on it seems. But this one, really, this is a great album all the way through. Animal Liberation on the wax tracks. It also includes Shriekback, Captain Sensible, Howard Jones even, Colorfield, Luke Van Acker, Lena Lovitch, Chris and Cozy, which I talked about, and then Attrition. Great collection. Couple more here. Street to Street. This is a Liverpool album from I'm trying to figure out what year it's from. I think 78. Between 78 and 79 these tracks were recorded. This was put out independently in Liverpool and contained the first ever waxings by Echo and the Bunnymen, an early version of Monkeys. And it includes also the Id, Julia's song. The Id became OMD, so this is essentially OMD's very first commitment to vinyl is on here. Julia's song, which of course turned up on their first album. Tontrix, a band called Tontrix, which included Mike Score, later to form Flock of Seagulls. And who else is on here? Seems like somebody, Modern Neon, their earliest recording. A really good post-punk band, Modern Neon, made their first appearance on this as well. Street to Street. This was obviously owned by a radio station. They marked on it, but beggars can't be choosers. This is a very hard album to get. Couple more. Wave News. This is another great collection that led me down the path of independent music. I got this because it included New Life by Depeche Mode, and I hadn't heard it at the time. And so I picked this up, and of course it led me down the path of Disco Man by The Damned. What else did I find on here? Eyeless and Gaza, got into them. Medium, Hungry So Angry is a great track on here, got into that. Bloodless Pharaohs, a band featuring Brian Setzer before Stray Cats, they're on here. The Exploited, Thomas Lear, Dead Kennedys, Fad Gadget. My first exposure to Fad Gadget was here, and my first exposure to Au Pairs was here as well, the song Inconvenience. Great collection, Wave News. Came out in Germany, I believe. Of course on purple vinyl. There was another volume of this, but it contained a lot more hardcore, oi type music, which I wasn't as into. Alright, and then Abstract. This was a magazine of which there are 2 issues that I know of that came with albums. And these albums are fantastic. One came out in 85, which is this one, and then there was another one in 86 that was just equally great. I could have shown that as well. But some of the tracks on here, Test Department, Wolfgang Press, 400 Blows, Swan, Cindy Talk, Colorbox, Manic, love that. Gene Left Jezebel Flame, really like that song. This is where I really got into it, and also The Trees, they're on here. Maps of Wrists and Arms, Niam, and The Jazz Butcher. And of course the magazine gave you all sorts of information about the bands on here and other independent acts at the time. This is from 1985, Abstract. If you can dig it up, please do. Love this. Alright, last I'm going to show you 3 60s compilations. I really love 60s music, and I've got gazillions of compilations and could show you a bunch, but a lot of them I have on CD, and so of course I'm not going to CD for this edition, but I'll show you 3 different vinyl compilations, and they'll represent the series. First one, of course, being Nuggets. This is, if you're looking to get into 60s music, start with Nuggets. That's what I did. And this pop collection is just fantastic. The Grassroots, Live for Today, Pretty Ballerina by the Left Bank, Happy by the Sunshine Company. I'm looking on the back here. I Shall Call Her Mary, Montage, which is also the Left Bank. Members were shared between the 2 groups. Ain't Gonna Lie by Keith, Mr. Dilingly Sad by the Critters, and Run, Run, Run by the Third Rail. Just a great collection. You could get any Nuggets collection and be just fine, but this is a particular good one called Pop. And then if you wanted to go deeper into American 60s stuff, you could get the Pebbles collections. And so this is one of them. This is called The Acid Gallery, and it contains The Diamond Mind, which is just a great kind of faux acid trip kind of collection. But loads of great stuff on here. Teddy and His Patches, Jefferson Handkerchief, The Calico Wall, who are fantastic. They're on here. You have Voices Green and Purple by the Bees, and I'm 5 years ahead of my time by the Third Bardot. If you do not know that song and you like 60s psych, get to know it. The Third Bardot, I'm 5 years ahead of my time. Primal Scream later covered that too. Just a great collection. Get any Pebbles and you'll be good. So this is just one of many of them. And then the English equivalent to Pebbles, Rubble. So there's Nuggets, Pebbles, and Rubble. And then there's also Boulders out there if you want to look for more early US 60 stuff, Boulders. But we're going to go here and look at Rubble. There's 20 volumes of these. You could get any one and be good. This one in particular I like. What edition is this? I'm trying to figure out what copy. I mean, Rubble 6. It's Rubble number 6. And I chose this one because it has the accent, Red Sky at Night. Really got into that track on here. The Attack, a band I really got into thanks to this collection. And the Poets, Scottish band, really got into. I Am So Blue is a real moody track on here. Just a great collection of songs. Again, you could get any Rubble collection, or Pebbles, or Nuggets, and you could be just fine. So that's it. I'm going to stop now. 15 minutes in. I have rambled long enough, and I need something to drink. So if you've got any cool compilations you want to show, things that really mean a lot to you, feel free to show them. I'd love to see them. In the meantime, keep the vinyl spinning.